What is up, beautiful people? I used to be 100 pounds heavier than I am now, but I lost all of that, became a personal trainer, and helped hundreds of people lose body fat, gain muscle, and add years onto their life. And in today's video, I want to add years onto your life. I want to bring up to your attention something that they call the type 3 diabetes, which is how we live and eat in our 20s, 30s, and 40s is being directly reflected on people's brains and bodies when they are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, getting Alzheimer's and all these other horrible cancers and diseases because of these choices on not only what people are eating, but how they are eating it. And these are preventable practices. I'm going to show you a few things that you can do today without even changing what you eat, just how you eat it, and it will drastically improve your projection on life, on improving your lifespan, and fighting against these Alzheimer and nasty diseases that people get as they age from not doing these tips that I'm going to share with you. Doctors are looking at people with diabetes, their bodies, their organ tissue, and then comparing that to people with Alzheimer's, their brains, and they had similar cell structure as almost the people with diabetes, and the way they were eating was killing their organs and decaying their organs in a similar fashion of Alzheimer's on the brain. So just imagine losing body fat, enhancing your focus, and protecting your brain, all by simply adjusting how you eat. These simple strategies can stop glucose spikes that contribute to these deadly diseases of diabetes, obesity, and cognitive decline. Okay, the first tip is going to be kind of what you eat though. Just because it's breakfast, it's the most important one. So if you've gone 6 to 8 hours of sleeping and fasting and you wake up, definitely first have a glass of water, maybe add some Baja sea salt in there to get the extra hydration. But then you want to have for your first meal, even if it's waking up at 8 a.m. or you fasted all day and you're eating at 4 p.m. or later, the first meal should really be focused on a savory meal, packed with a lot of protein. Your body is craving for nutrients, and so the first thing that you put in it is going to be absorbed quickly and rapidly by your muscles and your overall body. So you want to make sure that it is something that's packed with nutrients and really healthy for you, especially the muscles. They're going to be empty of their stored glycogen, and they're going to want something to help repair those. And protein, especially fattier ones, say if it's like steak and eggs or something, is going to allow you to be satiated and full a lot longer. Again, helping you throughout the day better if you have that high protein meal for your first one. Number 2, cut glucose spikes by 30%. I do this every morning. Vinegar contains acetic acid that helps curb these glucose spikes that we're trying to fight against. Drink a mixture of 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or just household vinegar and swirl that up with a glass of water. I also add salt in this in the morning, but at least the water and apple cider vinegar before a big meal, first meal, last meal, but at least do it with before your biggest meal. I personally do a glass with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 5 grams of creatine, and 1/4 teaspoon of Baja Gold sea salt every morning, and then I'll do it before my last meal, which is usually my biggest meal. But you can see the differences is if you even just had a brownie with the apple cider vinegar, the difference of that spike curve compared to, if you have the apple cider vinegar before the brownie, the difference in that drop of energy and glucose spikes and how it changes how your body is metabolizing that when you have that apple cider vinegar before. Tip number 3 is going to be creating a protective wall for your stomach lining. Say you're eating lunch or dinner and you're having pasta and some veggies. Allowing your body to break down that fiber, and that's going to help actually process those carbs from that pasta or rice better, is by having those veggies first. A lot of different countries outside of the Americas prioritize eating vegetables before their meal. If you're having a carb-heavy meal, eating vegetables before the carbs is going to allow you to have a way better glucose spike. So you can see what happens to your glucose spike when you have those carbohydrates first. It's that big mountain spike, and then the vegetables after it kind of gets you down to that normal range. But you can kind of prevent that by having the vegetables first. As you'll see, it's not as high of a mountain spike, and the come down is way better, so you don't have that crash as much by having the vegetables first. Tip number 4, this one has been a huge help, and I've been doing this for a long time. I love, love, love this one, is boosting digestion manually without taking anything. So say you are having a poke bowl or chicken and rice, and heavier meal, especially the heavier meals, but I'll even do this with the lighter ones, but mainly those heavier meals that, say you go for lunch and you have 30 minutes, eat it within 20 and then save those last 10 minutes for a walk after. by moving your body for 10 minutes post-meal. And it doesn't even have to be walking, it can be cleaning, it can just be standing, it could just be some type of movement that gets your body like, moving the blood flow. I like walking, it's the easiest. But even if you're at a desk for work, you can just do calf raises seated for literally like 10 minutes and just pump your calves up and get the food digested quicker. The soleus muscle in our calves is really good for sucking up glucose. But as you can see, the difference between just eating like a rice poke bowl and how that affects your glucose versus a poke bowl, but you're walking for 10 minutes after, you can see the difference in that energy fluctuation, and you don't have as insane of a spike, as well as the part after is a lot more better, so you don't have that energy crash. Tip number 5, I love this one. It's from the glucose goddess. She says, never eat carbs naked. So if you're just taking in one source, say you're just taking in protein, you're just taking in carbs, you're just taking in fats on itself, I think the protein and the fats, you don't have as much as that glucose spike, but definitely with carbs, you have a higher glucose spike because it's all that your body can focus on. So by not eating carbs naked, you're saying, instead of having like, oats with a fruit puree and seeing how that huge spike in your glucose, you're gonna have a huge energy crash after, except throwing a couple things in your body's way to also work on like maybe some eggs cooked in butter on top of those oats puree, you can see the huge difference in that mountain spike. It's not as crazy and you don't have that crazy energy crash coming after. And it's really a lot more optimized for your health and long-term standing. And you can do that with all your meals, just trying to make sure that you're not focusing on just snacking on one resource, just trying to get, a little bit more macronutrient spread and having a whole decided meals. Just quickly breaking down, if you wanted to match all these into an ideal day, it's getting a great night's sleep, waking up, having water, some creatine, some salt, and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar 10 minutes before your first meal, and just make sure that that first meal, even if it is oats, that you're pairing it with some bacon, some eggs, some butter, and getting some more, nutrients in there, whether it's like toast with avocado on it and butter. Just adding some other stuff for your body to work on besides just processing the carbs really quickly and having sugar spike fall. And then for lunch, making sure that we're having our vegetables, or dinner, having our vegetables first, and then eating the carbohydrates and the protein, giving our stomach some stomach lining and fiber to help kind of soothe the transition of that carbohydrates through our digestive system. And then after having that heavy meal, having a 10 minutes to either do some calf raises if we're at work, or just walk around the office, or go to the bathroom and, just run to the wall. Just having some type of digestion movement manually after we're done. And then also making sure that you're just cutting out as much processed sugar and food as you can, and just eating those whole foods, because the additives that you're eating, I know that these practices I showed you 4 of them are mostly focused on changing how you eat, not what you eat. But if you're truly trying to change your health, like adding poison into your body is just not going to help. So I was stuck on this for a long time of eating fast food and candy for the majority of my weeks, and it's just on the other side of that, it's such a different lifestyle and such a different daily feeling. You kind of still, it makes sense, the cravings of that food, it does taste good, but after I'm getting rid of it for a while, you start to crave the feeling more than the taste. Like those 5 minutes, 10 minutes of feeling good eating that food is not worth more than feeling good and having good energy and a good mindset and going through your day with consistent energy, rather than having spikes and crashes and having to recover and feel terrible and have brain fog. You can really eliminate those by doing these 5 skills, as well as really helping yourself in addition to not putting that inside your body meal by meal. Just starting off with, for breakfast, I'm going to have a glass of water with apple cider vinegar, creatine, salt, and then I'm going to have a savory meal. And if I want to add carbs, I'll make sure that I'm having protein and fats as well as with that first meal, so that it's not spiking my glucose so high. And all this is to ensure that you're investing in your future health. A lot of times when you're thinking of investing, it could be financial, but even if you have all the financial stuff in check, your health is what matters most. And so investing in your health now is by reducing these glucose spikes that are going to be, causing, sadly, half of America a lot of nasty diseases, cancers and Alzheimer's. in way too early because of these glucose spikes and the way that we're eating our food and what's in our food. So don't be in that half. Be in the half that is living a great life, that's feeling good, moving better, and living longer. Be in that half of the Americans, and this is the step that you're going to do to do that and ensure that you and your children and the people that you love around you get the best of you for the longest period of time. And I think doing this naturally is important. I want to touch on GLP-1s. So there's L cells that are in our digestive system that basically just chill there until we eat food, and then they get to work. Their job is to kind of monitor the foods coming in and then send signals to your brain and the rest of your body of like, hey, we're full now. No need to send anything else or eat. So scientists and people that want to make money off of it were, of course, like, hey, how do we extract these kind of signals and how can we send more of them without the need of the cells solely based on their work? Well, that's where things like Ozempic and GLP-1s come in, and they work. On top of curbing hunger and alcohol addictions, they also helped a lot with people losing weight because they were making them not hungry. They were kind of replicating what these L cells are doing in our digestive system. This is kind of a double-edged sword. If you are 300, 400, 500 pounds and you clearly are not helping your weight through natural practices, these GLP-1s can help save your life. They can help get that hunger signal, and then over time, hopefully with coaching, develop the natural practices needed to sustain that through healthy and moderate eating. The problem is that a lot of people won't reach that point, and it'll be a zigzag line of on the drug and weight moving the way we want, and then off the drug and not moving how we want. Here are the biggest things if you're going to rely on a GLP-1 or an Ozempic. There's no judgment, but I just want to let you know that these are the biggest criteria marks that people are seeing in affecting other areas of their life while they're sustaining this fat loss. Studies show that 70% of people gain the body fat back when they stop using these GLP-1 Ozempic drugs because they're not taking the time to work with a professional like myself or others that are teaching them good habits on actually healthy eating to sustain these results. The biggest problem is that they're not working out and strength training while they're taking these Ozempic drugs. So if you're going to take Ozempic and these GLP-1s, you need to at least be strength training 3 days a week and eating 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight to make sure that you are sustaining and building that muscle mass as you're losing that body fat, because that's going to make it a lot easier to burn more calories and sustain your bone health and muscles, which you vitally need for longevity. I still would like to see food and drug companies, instead of short fixes, actually focusing on fixing our healthcare and food care systems and agriculture systems so that we have better food and that we're not just creating drugs and basically food equivalent of drugs like cereal and candy bars and crappy food that is processed and not good for our bodies, so that we have to have a high population, like literally over half of our population is obese and struggling to eat these healthy options, and it is more expensive to eat healthier food. I mean, with inflation right now, it's more similar than I think it ever has been, but still, it's expensive in time having to cook and meal prep your foods. And I'm a big Costco fan, and they have a lot of organic food, but it does take a lot more time. It's not as convenient as these eating out places, but it matters. Your health is the most important thing to you. So if you truly want to live your best life, it's not going to be in any of these fast food places. It's going to be in your own hands, getting these organic foods and making them yourself so you understand what's going in them and what you're intaking in your body. But instead of focusing on fixing the food in these food companies, drug companies are profiting off of people not eating. That's like saying if the tap water is bad, come up with a pill that makes people less thirsty. It's kind of weird to think about that. But that's kind of the stage that we're in. I learned a lot of this from the podcast on Diary of a CEO with the Glucose Goddess. I'll put that in the description below, as well as my website with my functional health program that kind of takes you through 3 months at least with over 500 different exercises to optimize your body, as well as tailored nutrition and regeneration, recovery program and protocols to help you master down supplements, ice and cold therapy, breath work, and then functional health training, where I take athletic training and bodybuilding training and combine them with my years of experience to provide you with the functional strength training program that kind of in 45 minutes, you don't have to use solely stretching or bodybuilding type traditional strength training, My exercises incorporate all of that into one, and through hundreds of clients that I've trained, where I've tracked every workout, every set, every rep, I have pulled these programs together to kind of give you what I think is the most functional and optimized strength training program that I have used with my clients that has, taken away pain from a lot of people. And I think that's what a lot of people are chasing, especially as they age. Want to be pain-free, want to be flexible, want to feel like we're mobile when we're sitting most of the day. And even if you are working out for an hour, how you are using that hour to the best of your ability is going to really determine your results, and my program gets those results. So check it in the link below. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. But take this thing seriously. This is life or death, and the decisions that you're making today are going to affect the rest of your life. So if you don't want Alzheimer's in 40 years, watch this video and really think about it. Till next time, peace.